Hi, everybody. It's me, Melody. Welcome to my stream. Make sure you guys like. I'm sorry, excuse me. I'm feeling a little under the weather, but make sure you guys like the stream on your way in. So, yeah, you guys see the topic. Do white men get better black women? And the reason why I chose this topic is because I was strolling down my timeline and there's this swirler who had the same topic. And I just thought it was absurd, the things she was saying, the things she was saying about black men. And then she had a white man on the panel. He was putting black men down. They were calling him dusty and all types of things. And you know me, that didn't sit right with me. So I sent the link to Game Changer, and I thought he would be the perfect person to help me break this down. Break down how ridiculous this video was. Hi, Game Changer.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
Pretty good. Now, I haven't seen the video, so I know you sent me the link last night, but I was busy. So I guess we could look at it now together
Oh
and
yeah.
kind of see where she was going with this. Let's see.
Okay, let's do this.
Wait.
Hey, everybody. Okay.
Oh no, go ahead. Say what you was gonna say.
No, I was just saying hi to the people in the chat. Um, we got Chris G, J Lock, Demetres, JT, Flying Monkeys. Hi. Mahogany Sins. Thanks for coming.
Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna pull up the screen.
All right.
No,
Give me a second. I found it. Let me just share the screen.
okay. And no, I don't have the Rona, J-Lock. I just have a little cold. I'll be fine. Hi, Prime. Okay, let me share the screen.
Okay. So first things first. I gotta say this again, fellas. Women never look like their avatar ever. It's especially when it's like this. Like especially when it's off face shot and it's highly filtered and stuff, they never ever look like their avatar. All right, so fair use.
Fair use.
How you guys doing today? Can everyone hear me? Please type. Ooh,
Yeah, I'll
let
go
me
up
turn that
a
off.
bit.
Okay.
Investors of all people, black women who want to interracially date, they can't stop talking about us and how we're so-called ruining the black community, right? And then in addition to talking.
Okay, I know that there are those who do, like the ones who cover the swirler got KILLED, and stuff like that. Like there are those who do, but even they don't primarily focus on that. It's really a minor thing. Like I hardly ever do videos on swirlers because I know what they're about. What she wants to do is that's the goal. What she's attempting to do, in my opinion, and you could tell me if I'm wrong, Melody, is create a false sense of urgency. Like, oh no, if they leave, they're ruining the community. Like nobody gives a damn because, or at least I don't. And here's why I don't really give a damn about them staying or leaving. They're not doing anything for the community if they stay. Like when swirl, if you're just gonna stay in the community and hate black men while in it, you're really not doing us any favors. If you're not producing and being a proper mother and wife, then to hell with you. Like you're not doing anything for the community by not getting with a white man. Like
Right.
everything you do at that point, from everything you do besides that, is irrelevant.
If anything, GC, they're doing you guys a favor by leaving.
Well, they're doing a favor in the sense that they're creating more light skinned women for the next generation. But I mean, that's that's, here nor there, right?
Right. They're creating the women they hate.
Yeah. So but, and also they're making available a woman from the different race. So it's really not hurting in the way that they would like for it to hurt. I know some brothers don't see that and they do make responses to swirling and complaining about that, but it's really not hurting the men. And here's what I mean when I say they're making available a woman of another race. So say a swirler goes out and gets with, um, Chin, right? She
Hmm.
gets with a guy named Chin, and you know, the woman Chin would have gotten with is now single, and let's just call her Mylene.
Mm.
So Mylene is like, okay, I'm single. Chin just got with Keisha. Let me get with Leroy. It kind of works that way.
Right. I agree.
About us, they're also spreading propaganda that non-black men get better black women, or that black women all of a sudden switch up when they're in relationships with non-black men. So I just wanted to come on here and address that with you guys, give you guys my opinion, as well as dropping the link in the chat so you guys could call up and give me your opinion. Okay, so now, as far as this conversation, I would say that there's probably three schools of thought on, do non-black men get better black women? You have the first group, and I actually have a clip from Vlad TV that I'm going to play for you guys. But you have the first group of
So
black men
that,
and mammies who typically use this as kind of like a shaming tactic for everyday black women, and they try to, get everyday black women out of interracially dating by saying, oh, ain't no white man or ain't no non-black man gonna want you, because non-black men, white men, they only get with cream of the crop black women. You gotta be the most beautiful. You got
okay, okay. So here's the truth of this.
Mhm.
This goes back into what I always say is that the rank and file black men don't have standards. So essentially, when a man gets with a woman, um, or excuse me, when a woman picks a man, the women that come to black men come because they don't have any standards. So, relatively speaking, relative to black men, other men have standards, and they will only get with a woman, any woman of any race, if she meets a certain criteria, and that is fit, feminine, friendly. Other races of men, like, I was on a show where a brother was trying to say, well, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. No, other races of men don't say that. Only black men say that.
Right. They I heard other races of men saying black men only take the ones they don't want. I've actually heard other races of men say this.
And there's a lot of truth to that. There's a lot of truth. A lot of brothers do not have the basic standards. So that does breed credence to what they say, that um, they take better black women than the black men do, because they aren't willing to accept the worst of anything, any race of woman. So yeah, that part is true.
to be fit. Your hair got to be all the way down to your ankle. So you got to blah, 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 blah. And they start just like throwing out all these standards of what they claim that non-black men and white men are only attracted to. And they try to use that.
Okay, so you're going to deal with men with standards. Chances are you go. I mean, don't get me wrong. What a lot of them do is they pretty much get with men with standards, and only the women that meet their standards will go over there. Now, there's always going to be that trailer park guy that doesn't have any standards, or his standards are similar to that of a black man,
Right.
and they hook up, but that's not the commonplace. She's exaggerating when she says, hair down to blah blah blah. But he will require somebody, like every man should, that a woman is more pretty than he is handsome.
Well, we have a lot of the trailer park men here in Jersey that'll take anybody. We have a lot of that here, so I guess it depends on where you are,
Yeah,
where you're from.
Well, I mean, so the trailer park man anywhere, he's going to take anything, but then like why not get with, the trailer park equivalent to Keisha? Like why not? Like if you're taking anything, if fit feminine friendly is not your criteria, then you're still in competition with the women of his community that's not fit feminine and friendly. You know, like
Right.
for every Lonnie Love, there's a Roseanne. So like he's just sitting there trying to pick between Lonnie Love and Roseanne is what's going on. Like essentially.
Agreed.
That to shame everyday black women who might be, a little bit more curvy, who might be short, who might be, whatever so-called undesirable trait they think that they have, and they try to tell them that they're not capable of getting a non-black man because non-black men only go for cream of the crop.
Once again, we're not saying that you're incapable of getting a non-black man. Okay, here's what it comes down to, and I think that this is the question personified that people want to know,
Hmm.
and that is, are they giving other races of men discounts?
Please elaborate.
So so do swirlers turn down equivalent black guys for white guys? Meaning that all things are equal, will they pick the white guy over the black guy? And that is true for a swirler. Meaning, okay, so say a black woman, was to say to black men, I do not date guys who are under 5'8". I only
Right.
date guys who are 5'8" and older. However, she gets with a 5'7" white guy while turning down five. So I think that that's the question. Now, do that go on amongst swirlers?
I would say so.
Okay.
I see a lot of black women who say, "Oh, I don't date Pookie and Ray Ray, but go date Eminem."
Hmm.
It's just I don't know why they do that.
Hmm.
So
Um, Somebody said, why can't they say that they're fat? Yeah. So, but she's talking about, and I think that she's talking to the overweight women. Just to be clear, whenever you're talking to a group of black women, the author is always assuming that they're fat.
because 80% of them are.
Exactly. So she's speaking to the black women as if they're fat. So she's answering the question that curvy black women have: do non-black guys have any criteria? Do they have a weight requirement, for swirling? Now the answer to that is not yes or no. It's somewhere in the middle. It's fluid. The answer is more like, well, they are more inclined to be concerned about weight than black guys.
You know what it depends on, GC? It depends on their tax bracket, how much they make. That's
Yeah,
what I
true.
think it depends
How,
on.
however, a white guy in the same tax bracket as a black guy is still going to be more concerned about weight than a black guy.
That's true.
You see, there isn't a white equivalent to, the guys here in the manosphere that chubby chase the way we do and that defends them, you know, at every opportunity they get. There isn't that. There aren't white guys out there saying, what that one guy said, oh, use a toothpick or a hockey stick. If you got that hockey stick, then you could get with a. There isn't somebody on that side saying something so stupid. So no, honestly. So a big woman, have better odds with a black man than a white man. Is what I'm getting at.
I agree. Real quick, let me just read the super chats. Thank you, Demetrius. He says divestors most seem through some sort of trauma. Wait, divestors most seen through some sort of trauma and due to said trauma. I think it causes a lapse in their thinking. They always seem to skip a beat.
Um, you have any thoughts on that?
No, not really. How about you?
Well, I don't think it's trauma. I think that they experience the same rejection that most women experience. They just internalize it much greater. You're going to get rejected as a woman from time to time, and unless you like marry out of high school or something like that. And um, I'm not talking about like an average woman. Even the exceptionally attractive women, they get shot down or turned down or disrespected by equally attractive men. They just do. They raise their bar until they hit a point to where they cannot that they can't monkey branch onto. They're going to get
Mm.
rejected. They're going to get pumped and dumped. This is inevitable for any woman who stays single long enough. Now, what a swirler does is she takes this natural thing, implies a race component to it, and then moves to a different race, thinking that the rejection that she received is a cultural thing. And it probably is, but it happens.
Excuse me. Or I think a lot of swirlers are tired of seeing black men date out. So this is what they do. They date out to try to hurt black men,
Mhm.
but it's not hurting them. That's what they don't realize.
Or
It's just
worse,
making
it's
them look
only hurting.
stupid.
Well, it's not going to hurt the black men that are dating out. It's only going to hurt the ones that wish to date them, which means that you're punishing guys for not dating out and for being with you. It's a stupid endeavor.
Yeah, it's ridiculous to me.
Yeah.
Oh, and let me read this last super chat. Thank you, Prime VA 757. He says, and you can tell a lot of these women online aren't around non-black men like that just by what they say. Exactly. I agree with that. Because true people who interracially date don't talk like swirlers do.
Sure. All right. Let's continue.
Top black women, right? Now, when black men in particular say this is really them snitching on themselves, right? Because they're telling you that when white men in particular, because typically they're talking about white men when they say this, but with when non-black men interracially date and when they come and they date black women, they get the cream of the crop in direct contrast to black men who are notorious for dumpster diving when they interracially date. Okay, we all know when black men interracially date, they get with the fattest, the nastiest, the funkiest, the most cracked out looking non-black women, right? And
Okay. So once again, part of having those standards is that it's across the board. So I don't doubt that there exist black men who get with bottom of the barrel non-black women. However, those same black men get with bottom of the barrel women of all races.
Who's black? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, black women too is what I meant. So yeah, that doesn't really fly. Now, the men who are interracially dating who don't take bottom of the barrel women from anywhere, those guys seem to get the Jenny Ma's, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Those guys seem to deal with a different sort of non-black women, and these are the ones that they complain. And listen, um, women aren't really complaining about the dumpster divers, diving in somebody else's dumpster. They're not. It bothers unless they're in the dump too. Those are the only ones who have a dog in the fight. No, the bulk of the complaint comes from the average at betters who want to be the top chick. They want to get the top chick treatment. Here's what I mean by the top chick treatment. Marrying a upper middle class guy is something that many women can do. if they are upper middle class and feminine value.
Mhm.
However, they kind of look at what they don't have, and that's where the whole scorn from rejection thing come in. Like, okay, you can marry this guy. He is he's a district manager at FedEx, and you can marry this guy. But you want to marry the athlete. You want to marry the six pack guy that was the top 10 draft pick. You feel that you deserve that,
Right.
and because you don't get that, you are upset. You see where I'm going with this, right?
Exactly where you're going with this. Yes.
So those guys, those top 10 draft pick guys, aren't the ones that are dumpster diving. They're not, and that's where it breaks down. Only the women in the dumpster care about dumpster diving dudes. You got a super chat.
Exactly. I don't want to miss the super chat. Thank you.
Hmm.
Let me read it. Um. Oh, here we go. Wait, no, I read that already.
No, there's another one.
Did I miss it? Oh, I see it. Hi, Dane. Thank you. He says, Melody, my baby. Hey, salute, GC. I remember her.
Salute,
Yeah,
fam.
salute.
Okay. All right. So let's continue. My computer's lagging because I'm uploading a video while I do this.
It's okay. Is this
So
a troll? These
Direct
men are
contrast,
that.
non-black men, when they interracially date, their standards stay the same. They still want the woman to be fit, attractive, well educated. They don't just all of a sudden drop their standards when they interracially date, right? So even though a lot of these nannies and these black men try to use it as a shaming,
okay, she said that they don't drop their standards when they interracially date. Neither do black men. The thing is that they don't drop their standards. They never had them in the first place. Far too many black men
Exactly.
never had standards ever. They kind of like their first was a piece of crap, piece of poon, and they have continued down that path ever since. It just was just interracial pieces of crap poon, and I've seen it. I've seen it. Um,
But you know what, JC? You know what I hate? Have you ever seen a tall, dark, and handsome black man with a big, fat white woman?
um, I don't really gauge guys as handsome, but have I seen guys who were more handsome than pretty, or than the woman is pretty? Yes, yes, I have.
Yeah,
Once again, black men don't have any standards,
right. I've seen that before, and I'm like, what is he doing with her? He could have had anybody. He
but
could
he
have had
couldn't have
Kim
had anybody.
Kardashian.
See, and that's the thing.
Kardashian. Oh, go ahead.
My,
I'm sorry.
my bad for interrupting. My bad for interrupting. You see, he couldn't have anybody. And I think that that's where a breakdown in the black community is occurring. You see, black men are used to and they have embraced and accepted that I am going to get with a woman who's less pretty than I am handsome. So it's a false notion, Melody, for you to say that he could have had anybody because he couldn't have any black woman that is prettier than he is handsome. He just couldn't. They don't work
Right.
that way. So no, that's the truth. And also through a series of mental effery and psychological effery, he has been taught to require less. And to be perfectly frank, some of these guys grow up just downright intimidated by women who are attractive.
True. Some guys don't have the heart to walk up to a woman, ask for a name and number.
Well, no, they do. They, however, don't have the heart to ask an attractive woman for her name and number. That's what they
Right.
don't do.
Facts. Okay, Dane C, thank you. He says, cry logic is a Sinji fangirl. She said on DJ Kuda that she never had a bad experience with a black man, but she created Black Men Hating Channel for Sin, G's Clout, or Cloth.
Yeah, I
I
think he
didn't
means
know that.
clout. Yeah, I think
Yeah, I
the
think
H was
so.
just a mistake.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Wow. So she's not even a swirler.
I don't know. I mean, a lot of women, just like we talk about fake pick me's, I'm pretty sure that there's fake pass me's.
True.
So, you know,
I think she's just a black man hater and she thinks this is hurting them.
maybe that could be the case too. I mean, it's going to hurt the women more, you know.
Right.
See, the only men that this can hurt is the men that exclusively dates black women. And you pretty much already had those guys anyway, so you're just losing something that you already had.
Exactly. She just looks pathetic.
Yeah.
Tactic, they're really just shaming black men because they're highlighting how black men have no standards, especially when they interracially date. It's like, so long as a woman doesn't look anything like them, they just drop all their standards. She could be 800 pounds, but he'll have the nerve to call, a black chick that's 160 obese, but he'll be caught with a 300-pound non-black undesirable, right? So that's one thing.
That straw man doesn't exist. These guys get with fat chicks of all colors.
All
They
around the
have no
board.
standards whatsoever. They have never called a woman fat because, quite frankly, they don't really see fat in women. They just see that she has a vagina.
That I find very hypocritical with black women when they say that. But yes, that is a common theme that a lot of people say that, oh, non-black men, white men, when they get with non-black women, they typically get the cream of the crop, right? Now, I actually have this video that I'm gonna play for you guys. And this video is actually a Vlad TV video. It's a Vlad TV video with Vlad and little Boosie's ugly ass. And you're going to hear little Boosie's ugly ass in this video talking about how every time he sees a white man with a black woman, the woman is just so fine. She the baddest chick he done seen in 3 years. But then when he sees a black man with a non-black woman, specifically a white woman, she's always fat, she's always ugly, she look like Miss Piggy, and she's never hitting, right? So he basically highlights the dichotomy between when non-black men interracially date and when black men interracially date. And as a black man, he admits this himself. So you're gonna hear him and Vlad TV have this conversation. So let's play this clip real quick. All right, guys.
I don't know. White dudes, as someone who dates black women, like, we're not on that colorism shit in the same way that I've seen other races be on it. You see what I'm saying? Like, or like hair and stuff like that. Like,
I'm sorry, y'all, but Boosie is ugly as shit. I should have gave y'all a trigger warning before I put his ugly ass on here. Like, I know Boosie's a smoker, but damn, his lips tell it all. Like, just look at this man's lips. Just on the damn screen, making my eyeballs bleed. But yeah, let's keep going.
personally like natural hair with women, but I know a lot of black men who don't. You know what I mean? But for me, I've never really cared about that. But usually the women care more than I do. You see what I'm saying?
Smoking. Let's
So
get this
when a white dude is with a black girl, something I can relate to, they're not trying to bleach their skin and straighten their hair and do all this extra shit. They like them for who they are. That's why
it do be different. I don't understand why.
Listen, guys, listen.
A white man. You see him in the airport. He got the baddest one. He got the baddest black bitch you done seen in 3 years.
Yep.
But the black dude got a white girl look like motherfucking Miss Pig.
If that's not the truth.
I don't understand that shit. I swear to God, I don't be understanding that shit. We were talking, me and my boy was talking about that the other day. We like, man, look. Dude got a bad chick. Then a dude come in there, this nigga, he go.
Okay. Once again, she would have a valid point if black men didn't date black Miss Piggy all the time? You see, they're not adjusting their standards to go to the other side. They keep their standards intact when they go to the other side. Whereas opposed to black women, they adjust their standards to go to the other side.
Right.
Well,
Because
I
let me
was
say
like,
this real quick.
we gotta do
Let me
better.
say this real quick. Black women will wear weaves all day with black men, but as soon as they get with a white guy, they want to wear their natural hair. It's really the black women that's doing it, like you just said.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But if we gonna get the if we gonna get the white girl, we gotta do better, fellas. We just can't, you know. I told my boy that one day. He was like, man, them white girls gonna ride with you. They gonna ride with you, man. I'm telling you, you need to get you a white girl, Boosie. They gonna ride with you. Fuck on. I like my beautiful black woman.
Now that's interesting because he seems to be race loyal, but he's also stating at the same time that um, there is a deficit in loyalty. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, contradiction.
I remember me and Willie D were talking about this on the phone.
Okay, so we're gonna stop the clip right there. That's enough of that. But yes, y'all just heard what Lil Boosie had to say, and I think it was Oshun that just said this. You had me cracking up. You said that Lil Boosie looked like a stud. Yes, Lil Boosie definitely does look like a stud, and that's why I think he's so obsessed with Lil Nas X. He look a little, a little suspect to me, and I think he really wants something to do with that boy. If you know what I'm saying, you know what I mean. He looks a little sweet to me. But yes, so y'all just heard what Lil Boosie's ugly ass just had to say. He said, when you see a white man with a black woman, she is the cream of the crop black woman. But when you see a black man interracially dating with a white woman, she always look like Miss Piggy, okay? She's always fat, she's always funky, she's never it, right? So this is a commonly said thing that non-black men get better, more attractive black women, right? So people do say this a lot. Now, I'm going to put the link in the chat because I want you guys to call in and give me your opinion on this situation. But that is school of thought number one, that, just white men have better taste than black men when they interracially date. So they do end up getting better caliber of women.
They have better taste than black men when they date within their race. See, once again, no matter, they're just, everybody else is staying consistent. Everybody else, MOT didn't get the notification, but everybody else seems to be consistent to where white women, they tend to date the same caliber across the board. If they were dealing with NBA players, okay, let's put it like this. A white chick who deals with an NBA player, that's just what her standards were prior to that. She was dealing with trust fund dudes and crap like that before. She wasn't dealing with, slobs before that. Same with a white guy. If he was dealing with fit, feminine, friendly women, when he dealt with black women, then that was his bar. That has always been his bar. He didn't go from Roseanne to Stacey Dash. That didn't happen. The only ones who make an adjustment in order to go over, with their hair or what have you, is
The swirlers.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It is the swirlers. They're the only ones that take the hit, and that's because they're doing it out of, anger, revenge, etc., etc., etc.
They're even more nice. Like, they'll be angry and mad at the black man, but go over there and just be submissive and, do whatever he wants her to do.
Well, I don't know the ins and out of their relationships. I don't, but it could be that she was submissive when she was there, and she just, who knows,
No,
before
GP.
she got there. Oh, you're saying,
GP. I know.
I don't
black
know. I don't.
men.
Well, I don't know swirlers, per se. So you know better than me. But I don't. I don't see. Like if I see. First of all, I don't really know any swirlers in real life. I don't. I'm trying to think back. Like, and nah, it just wasn't happening. I do know girls who claim to exclusively date um, white dudes, but then when that jawline nigga walk into the room, all bets are off. I do know chicks like that.
Right.
They're not doing it out of spite. They're just they're just doing it for other reasons. But I never met a chick who uh, except online, who actually just swirls like that, who
No,
don't date black dudes out of spite. You know,
I know one who actually said she's not nice to black men. She's nice to white men only because
hmm
white men are nice to her. I actually know somebody like that. She's like, I'm constantly in competition with black men. Black men don't treat me like the queen I am. So white men do. I've heard women say that before. So
wait a
yeah.
minute. Wait, what does she mean when she says she's in competition with black men? That's interesting.
I don't know. She said when she's with a black man, she constantly feels like it's a competition. But when she's with
Competing
a
in
white,
what type of competition?
honestly, I don't know what she meant by that. But she was like, when she's with a white man, she feels more like she's his queen, he's her king. I don't know what she meant by that, but it was weird.
Well, okay, so and this is why it's hard to really psychoanalyze these type of women is because there's so many lies going on. There's obviously a lot of lies. Okay, so there's what things actually are, and then there's how they want to perceive. They so there's the perception, and then there's the reality, and that's why I say I really don't know what they're going through in their interpersonal relationships, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, because I just don't like the swirlers. They want to present a happy life, and they want to say to black men and black women that he treats me this way, hoping that black men will follow suit, hoping that like, oh, all I got to do is treat her like a queen, and that's the message that they want to. What are you doing? Why are you making noise?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
However, that might not be the relationship. That's how she wants the relationship to present to the world.
Right,
Does that
that's what
make
I
sense?
mean. It makes a lot of sense because I noticed with swirlers, they're always putting pictures up with their husband and a baby and pretending everything is cool. But lately, I've been hearing that a lot of swirlers been getting, I don't know if I can say the word, but you know,
Yeah.
they're
They
not here
they
anymore
yeah, exactly.
on the earth.
Um,
So,
and that's not anything to celebrate, but I mean, what I notice is that they just present like a perfect relationship that doesn't necessarily exist. Um, However, they want to sell the notion of swirling to others, and they also want to kind of control what black men do. Like
exactly.
they say they want the black man to say, oh, if I behave like she claims that he behaves, then I will get the results that he's getting. Now, it's not going to work because we have long since known that that's not really an effective thing. And so she's really just wasting her life in order to help the sisterhood out, but it's not really helping the sisterhood out.
Exactly. But let me read the super chats real quick.
Sure.
Volcanus, thanks so much for the super chat. I hope I said your name right. He says, greeting, Melody, panel, and chat. Greetings. Thank you. And I think I have another one. Where is it?
Uh, King Henry.
Um,
It's
Here
like
we
the
go.
fifth one from the bottom. Yeah.
Sorry. my throat is sore. Can you read that for me, JC? So
Yeah,
sorry.
sure. The only black woman we have to choose from look like Notorious B.I.G. with a wig with multiple kids already. Yeah, it is bad choices. You see, so as far as it is bad choices as far as black men goes, or black women goes. There isn't much to choose from, and also because of that, um, because there's so many bad out there, any venue, any avenue that would get you to a proper black chick is closed. Meaning that, okay, take this for example, because there's so many fat ones, right? If somebody, let's just say I were to say, "Hey, King Henry, how would you like to meet up with my cousin?" You probably would say no, thank you, because you know that since I'm black, my cousin is also black, and there's an 80% chance she's fat.
Right.
So no, thank you. You know, and that goes on a lot. You know, whether a woman is big or not, people just aren't excited to meet her. Like nobody is going to venues where it's primarily just or solely black women, and that's of all races. You know, black people meet. They probably don't make any money. Because it's like, why would I go to a place that's primarily just black women? That means I got to dig through all the fat ones just to find one that's slim, and it's not
Right.
happening like that. It is easier to go to a regular dating site and then pick from the black ones there. But yeah,
Didn't you say that you went to a party and they were like, "What type of girls are there?" And you said black or something like that, and they
no,
didn't want to go?
no. This was 2 degrees of separation from a coworker and friend. He was saying that the guys were like, hey, you should go to such and such clubs. It has all the type of girls you could think about. And he named, Latin, he named Indian. He was Indian himself. He named Indian, he named Oriental, he named white. He was like, and then dude was like, are there any black girls there? And he was like, oh, now that I think about it, no. But so, yeah, they didn't really register as a primary choice.
Right. That's crazy.
It
And
is.
it's hard for women like me because even though I am an attractive black woman,
Mhm.
if I were to meet somebody online or, on the phone, they're going to think automatically I'm not attractive or I'm overweight because of other black women. They make it
And
hard for the good looking ones.
and then there's the other components. There's not just the fit component. There's the feminine and friendly component as well. So even if a woman is attractive, you have to question if she feminine and friendly. And that is something that people do more with black women than they do with other groups of women, and that's just due to their ethnic reputation, the ethnic reputation that black women unfortunately has developed for themselves. So
Exactly.
yeah, it is very difficult, to do that. But what they want to do is they want to say, I'm fit, feminine, friendly, and I'm a black woman, and and I'm swirling. So the pro so if you behave as I say he behaves, then you will get this too. I mean, it's a shame. It's interesting that they're willing to make sacrificial lambs of themselves, but a lot of their relationships is just for show. Like, and this isn't, like I say, I don't really know swirlers like that, but this is what I get from the opposite end, from the non-black guy who's dealt with black women in this regard. Um, they're the ones who are the earners of the relationship, but they go for the image that the non-black person is the earner. Okay, so say she has a nice car, right? Let's just say she has a newer Lexus or something like that, right?
Right.
She would let him drive in order to make it appear as if she is, a kept woman, the housewife of the relationship, so to speak, and he is the breadwinner supporting his queen. However, that's not the case. The truth of the matter is she owns the house, she owns the car, and she had the kids, and it's reversed.
Right.
But yeah, so they present something that's not actually true.
I agree. Thanks for that super chat, Ken Henry. Super. I can't even talk. I'm so sorry, guys. Thanks for the super chat, King Henry. I really appreciate it.
Oh, it says yeah,
Yeah, we
the
read that
multiple
one
kids.
already.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you so much. Yeah, but do we have any more of the video?
Well, she's about to open up the panel. I don't know if you want to see that.
No, yeah, I wanted to show you guys how she had the Caucasian guy up there giving his opinion on things.
Oh, okay.
And this is what they do. No sound.
All right, give me a second.
Yeah, Kevin, I already did that. I had tea, I had lemon juice, soup. I don't know what's going on here. Here we go. Here they come, GC.
Okay.
Hilarious.
Oh, well, black women who interracially date or the divestors and the swirlers, the only reason they interracially dated is black men ain't want them. You know, they was ugly, they was bottom of the barrel. No black man wanted that, so they had to go get a Brad. They didn't have any choice, right? Now, typically this is bullshit, but they'll try to use people like Jodie Turner for an example, right? So they'll be like, "Oh, Jodie Turner, she couldn't get her a black man. She said black men wasn't attracted to her. That's why she had to go get her a white man because she was bottom of the barrel, blah blah."
What happened?
My bad, I was on mute. But that's part of the lie. To say that there exists a woman that no black man is physically attracted to, however, white men are physically attracted to, is false at best. It's just false. Okay, listen. This is how it works, and this is where a lot of swirlers come from. In high school, not saying every man, but let's just say that there, just like everywhere, there exists a hierarchy of social status in high school, um, and that's for the guys and the girls. And of course, the girls wanted the guys with the higher social status, and um, they typically went for the girls who either had high social status themselves or went to different schools. So, which means that there was a group of girls, and this is something that's unique in the black community. And y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, especially those of you who are fresh out of high school. The most attractive woman isn't necessarily high on the social status in the black community, where the pretty girl is always at the top in the white community. And that just from everything I've seen, like, Clueless, Mean Girls, all those type of high school movies, the prettiest chick was always the top of the food chain. In the
Oh,
black
yeah.
schools, it's not necessarily the case. The top of the food chain could be the fattest chick, or anybody. So you do have some chicks who were overlooked by a lot of black men at that stage in their life. They just weren't invited to the party. They just, wasn't invited to the cookout. They were just invisible. And they hated that, and they hated black men for making them that way.
Mm-hmm.
So, Yeah, that exists, and some swirlers do come out of that camp.
Yeah, I think, like I said, mainly the swirlers. Most swirlers come from black men not wanting them because they're not attractive. That's what I.
Well, but once again, it's not because they're not attractive. It's not because they're not physically attractive. It's just that at that point in their life, they were not at the top of the social hierarchy.
Right. Or they had nasty attitudes. That can be it.
Um, so the thing about invisible girls is I don't know their attitudes because they were invisible.
Right.
They probably would have attempted to be pleasant if given the opportunity. Now they weren't given the opportunity because they were invisible. But believe it or not, and this also comes to, and a lot of this is black man's fault for collectively not having standards. We do ignore a lot of attractive women,
Right.
and some of these women may even have decent personalities. But
Right.
because brothers are so used to low hanging fruit, they miss the ones on top.
Or
Mhm.
here's another thing it can be. It can be that these women know that black women are at the bottom. So they want to prove to everybody, hey, look, I can get a white man too.
Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's part of the thinking that if I get with a white man, that automatically puts me in as a white woman, like I'm a de facto white woman. That's
Mhm.
as far from the truth as you can possibly imagine. It
Right.
just is, and it's kind of embarrassing to think of yourself that way because you're not thinking of yourself as you're not gauging your worth as individual worth. You're gauging your worth as ethnic worth, and you shouldn't do that. Your worth should be individual.
Exactly.
Blah 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 blah. I actually heard a Dusty on YouTube call Jodie Turner bottom of the barrel because she is a tall, slender, dark skinned woman. Now let me.
Okay. And for example, there's this guy, I'm not gonna say his name, but there's this guy who said that, oh, you too skinny for me. I knew someone with meat on their bones. So there are guys, believe it or not, there is truth to what she's saying. There are guys that treat more attractive women like shit. Or excuse me, like crap. And the reason that they do this is because it's a mating call to the low hanging fruit. They're like, okay, if you treat Chloe Bailey like crap, then that means that, um, I don't have to worry about her as competition. It means that you are a legitimate chubby chaser and blah 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 blah. So there are guys out there that are doing that. So it does make sense. And once again, this is because of black men's low standards.
Hmm. They're so used to seeing big girls in the hood that they think it's okay. They think it's normal.
Probably. I mean, or they just don't really they just accept anything out of life and they don't have value on themselves or they perhaps are low value.
True.
Nevertheless, that mentality does linger in the black community. So there are women who are treated poorly by black men in order to appease the less appealing black women. And a lot of the guys are just playing the numbers. They're like, okay, I can piss off 20% of the female population and mate with 80%, or I can piss off 80%, which is what I do, and go after the 20%.
Right.
But, since the 80% don't really count as women, I don't care if they're pissed off. And, the 80% are bet, if you're not effing pygmies, you're not effing shit.
Right.
One thing very abundantly clear, Black women who interracially date tend to be universally attractive, right? They tend to be the type of Black women where you could put them in any group, any space, and they will be seen as attractive or at least average, but well put together, well kept, well groomed, and everything like that. So Jodie Turner and women like her are universally attractive. They're just not going to be attractive in the Black community to a bunch of colorist niggas that like, the very
Okay, what she said didn't really make much sense because um, if you're universally attracted, then once again you would be attracted to all that exists in the universe, um, and that includes, and if you break it down by ethnicity, it would be that too. So yeah, I don't really get what she's saying there
I
with
think
that
she
one.
just likes to hear herself talk. That's what it sounds like to me.
Maybe,
It's
maybe.
not making any sense.
niche look of white skin and fat ass, right? So she does not fit that look. So in the Black community, to the colorist niggas, yeah, maybe she's not cream of the crop, maybe she's bottom of the barrel, but universally, a woman that looks like Jodie Turner would be considered to be very beautiful and very attractive. So I don't believe that theory holds water. But if you're a Black man and you believe that, the Black women who interracially date are just, bottom of the barrel in the Black community and they had no other choice, then you can call in and you could tell us why you feel that way as well. Okay. Now we're going to go into the third school of thought and I'm going to put the link in the chat.
What about Lonnie Love?
Sorry, y'all. I'm trying to do the link thing.
What about Lonnie Love? Lonnie Love.
I'm saying Lonnie Love interracially dates, and she's not the top tier. So why does she think only beautiful women date white men? I'm
Yeah,
confused.
I don't know. You got some type of distortion that happens randomly, like when you move or something. We can hear
Oh,
it.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
I'm gonna mute and I'm gonna set my computer up better. Hold on.
Okay. But anyway, so she was asking about Lonnie Love. Yeah, there exist those, but Lonnie Love is rich. And I don't think that the guy that she's dating is rich. So essentially she's paying guys to date her, to get back at the black guys that wouldn't mess with her. So that would be an example of what I'm talking about. It's not just attractive women that are, passed over by black guys, but also, and this is what I've seen anecdotally, but okay, so we've all seen it. We've all seen these women who are, for lack of a better word, because this is the best word, that are fat. Bernard covered one recently. They're fat women demanding pie in the sky dudes. Now, when they don't get the pie in the sky dudes, because even though black men don't have standards collectively, there are some pie in the sky that do. And these are the ones that tend to be single. Okay, if you are a high worth black man who don't value yourself highly, then you're going to get hitched quick. You're going to be taken off the market quick. Why? Because you're selling a Mercedes for $85. So that Mercedes is going to go quick. And then there are the ones where the Mercedes cost the regular price, and Lonnie Love didn't get to the $85 discount Mercedes quick enough. So she's going for the regular Mercedes and she can't afford it. She can't afford it because her currency is fat. So yeah, it is. She's poor in feminine currency. She's wealthy in actual currency. Now, what she's doing, and this is what I described earlier when I was talking about the women who let the non-black guy, drive their car, is she's getting a guy, any white guy, using her money to probably attempt to make it appear as if she is a kept woman by him. Like the rest of the cast, like what's her name, Tia Mowry or something, like Tamara, whichever one, you
Tamara.
know. Yeah, Tamara, like Tamara Mowry, like Ma Ling. These are women who can If their bank account went to zero tomorrow, their man would still be able to support them. That is not the case for Lonnie Love. If her bank account went to zero, then they would be homeless.
Right. Exactly.
Why? My stuff can't just ever be right. All right. Copy the clipboard. All right, so I just put the link in the chat, guys. I'm going to spam up the chat with the link. Definitely call in, guys. But yes, so the third school of thought is that no, non-Black men do not get better Black women necessarily. It's just that Black women switch up when they get into relationships with non-Black men,
True.
specifically white men. They just switch up because they glorify whiteness. You know, they see white men or non-Black men as more valuable than they do Black men. So when they do interracially date, it's not that they're getting better quality of women. It's just that these women are acting right where they would never act right or be respectful or soft and feminine when it comes to being with a Black man. So that's another school of thought. And we have our first caller, and we have child support. I'm gonna let you on. I'm gonna let you up in 1 second, child support. But just to give my opinion on that, why is it that Black men always want to say that the reason Black women so-called switch up when they're in interracial relationship is because, oh, they're trying to worship whiteness, or it's just because they inherently hate Black men or don't respect Black men? Why isn't it more so that when Black women interracially date, they tend to automatically be in a higher class, right? Because non-Black men tend to make more money than Black men. So they tend to be higher class. They tend to have to work less. They tend to not have to go 50-50 as much. They tend to be better provided for, and they tend to have an environment that the non.
And you see, that's the illusion. That part is what they want to sell them on. That they're getting guys who are economically superior to them. In most cases, they're not. They're getting their inferiors or equals.
Right. They're getting the same thing they could have found in a Black man. That's it. They're just rubbing it in Black men's face.
Yeah, they're well. I mean, what I was yeah, I get what you're saying. I was just saying that to say that that once again, this is a message that they're trying to send to Black men. They're trying to sell them on the concept that okay, here's the thing. Let's understand the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal of them as a sisterhood is to get average women to get exceptional guys. Part of them, their attempt to achieve this goal is to try to tell Black men that everybody else is doing it. Everybody else is giving average women exceptional guys. Or, yeah. And that's simply not true. Yes, white men do tend to be the breadwinners in relationships with white women or any woman who is prettier than they are handsome. The same is true, however, with Black men who are with Black women who are prettier than they are handsome, and they are the breadwinners. Guys with bread just do that, like basketball players that do that, they do it all the time. Like how many, basketball wives are Black, and their husbands, of course, are breadwinners.
Right.
However, the caveat is she must be prettier than the man is handsome. That's how that works.
Hmm. Honestly, I
Look,
don't know many Black couples that's prettier than the man is handsome.
yeah, yeah, you only see that like in the higher echelon.
Right.
Now, what she's trying to say here is that the women who are less pretty than the man is handsome, the man is supporting her even though she's average at best. That is what she's trying to sell them on. And that couldn't be further from the truth. But let's take average at best for a second, right? She says she makes six figures, so let's go with that. So she's making six figures and she goes out and find herself a Brad, right? Now
Mhm.
she wants to get back at black men, particularly Kevin Samuels, for saying that she's average at best. So she's like, look at what I got, and I'm submissive to him because he financially supports me. But he don't. And that's the secret that they don't want to let out. That's the lie.
Right.
Black man is providing for them, that the black man was not providing for them. And when they're in the circumstances of this newfound environment, they're able to live in their femininity. They're able to embrace their femininity. They're not so stressed out from working 40 hours a week and going 50-50.
They're not working 40 hours a week. They're working 50 hours a week. And they're not going 50-50. They're going 100-0.
They're
Unless she
submitting
is
to their
prettier,
man.
than he is handsome, then that is how it works, no matter the race. That is how it is going to work.
Right.
They're creating an illusion. What's her name? Serena Williams situation. She has more money than this guy. Like that, these are the breaks. Even Crystal Carrison, when she had her first husband, she initially had more money than he had. But Crystal Carrison was probably, and I don't know what the guy looked like, but she was probably prettier than the guy was handsome.
Hmm. Listen, it's a full time job to submit to your man. Even if you don't have a job, you still got to be home, making sure the house is okay, making sure your husband is fed. It's a full time job. So usually that's what it is.
Yeah.
Right? Black men don't ever talk about that. They'll just try to accuse black women of hating their blackness and being um white male worshipers, right? Or non-black male worshipers, when they don't ever acknowledge that these men don't behave the same that black men do, and they don't conduct themselves the same in relation.
And that's the thing. They're saying behave like these guys. And that's what I'm saying. All of this swirling thing is just trying to get black men to change their behavior to what they think is going on in these swirl relationships. But I mean, what these black women are failing to understand is that that only works on black men that do not have contact with other races of men. That's the caveat. It only works with these super hotep, I don't want to talk to whitey type guys. It don't really work for the rank and file black men who, maybe have a couple of white friends, a couple of white co-workers, some of them date interracially, and they see what's going on. Like, oh, okay, this is, I see the dynamic here. You're right. It is a different culture, but it is not the culture that they are presenting. Like, well-to-do white guys are not getting with average at best single moms. That's what they're trying to make it seem like. And putting them up so they don't have to work 40 hours a week. That's only black men are that stupid. You know, like that is what they're trying to present to the world. And if you just take them completely at face value, that's what you're going to wind up with.
So that's just my opinion on that. And I'm gonna let up the first caller to the stream, and we're gonna let up child support. So add to stream. Hello, child support payment. Can you hear me?
Yes, and it's child support. Pay me.
Oh, child support pay me. Okay. Hello, how are you?
I'm well. I'm getting paid, getting played and laid.
Okay. So what would you like to add to the conversation? Do you believe that non-black men get better black women? Why or why not?
Now, usually I am not on team give disclaimers, but it's just like the cognitive dissonance is so intense that you really have to break it down for Dusties to understand. So let me wrap with you, Dusties. Look, not only should you be like really humiliated that the like schools of thought on why, quote unquote, white men get better results out of black women.
So first she said that they don't. Now she's saying that you should be humiliated that they do.
The fact that the whole conversation exists isn't humiliating to you really just goes to show that you don't see how the rest of the world views you at all. But I digress.
Yes, we do. What you want us to do is you want us to see the way the rest of the world views us as told by you. You see, we could just go directly to the source to see how the rest of the world views us, but you want to tell us how the rest of the world views us to your benefit.
Okay.
If the stimulus is a man's presence, and the only thing that has changed is a man's skin color, and we are all coming from the same place and the same species, then the real and honest truth is you weren't a masculine man who deserved anybody's submission. I don't understand why. I'm sorry. It's just like so, it's so ridiculous. I don't understand why we have the only community where it's confusing to talk about like what masculinity is, but feminine.
Well, she's the only one confused. Know this, that when people do subtle laughs at their own jokes, it's really them trying to gather their thoughts because she's completely confused. And that's why there's so many contradictions in what she was saying. She's completely confused on where she wants to go with this, other than the fact that she wants to use this as a way to shame black men somehow.
Is so clearly defined. It's like, oh, you need to do what I say. Well, what is like the benefit to doing what you say if you don't take care of me? I am only going to, as a woman, you as men have decided that I have a limited amount of value. And once I hit my early to late 40s, you're going to pretty much just throw me in the trash if I'm not married already. So
And they're
if
not
I
going to
really have so much time to spend on each individual dude,
This is true.
why would I waste my time with the dude, my youth with a dude who's not providing me anything? That just is that doesn't, the math thing.
Now, according to your name, he's providing you with child support, apparently. And you came on saying, I'm getting paid.
Typical.
This is a very weird conversation that's going on here. So, yeah, she's like, child support, I'm getting paid. Why would I waste my time with Dusties? But you're in a situation where you're receiving child support, meaning you have a child and you're not with the person that you're with.
Right. She's another statistic, a single mother. So it
Yeah.
seems like she's the dusty one.
Hmm.
Interesting.
So the reason why you feel like race is the thing is that you don't have anything to offer black women. And apparently Brad did, because there's plenty of ain't-ish Brads out there who black women are avoiding, who are doing the same thing. So it has nothing to do with race and everything to do with culture and the fact that it's not considered masculine, cool, appropriate, okay, acceptable to behave that way.
Mhm. Okay,
And
so
no one's
let me
gonna
ask
call
you a
you
question.
for it.
In other cultures, it's not considered feminine to call yourself child support pay me. In fact, I'm trying to think of another culture to where the woman is yelling child support pay me and other women are laughing and egging it on. We see it all
Only
the
in
time on the
our
Maury. Yeah, we see it all the time on the Maury Povich show. So whose culture is flawed? I mean, you're an example of a flawed person in that culture. This is weird.
honestly, black women are the reason our culture is like the way it is. It's the women.
Yeah, I mean, it's the men, who are bending to their will in the sense that they have no standards. But yeah, I agree.
Yeah, definitely the women.
When non-black men interracially date, do you typically think that they get the most beautiful black women, they get the most educated cream of the crop black women, or do you see them more so with like everyday average black women that are just well taken care of
Why are they saying educated like that's a factor that we give a shit about?
because they're providing better lifestyle? What do you think?
Well, I'm kind of biased because of the region I live, it's so diverse.
Mhm.
So I see all sorts of combinations, but the majority biased because of the region I live, it's so diverse.
Mhm.
So I see all
Lifestyle. What do you think?
Well, I'm kind of biased because of the region I live.
Okay, just making sure that she said regent. Had to hear it 3 times. Like, did this chick just say regent?
Regent. No. And she's not even educated talking about educated women. She don't
She
even know how to
said
talk.
regent. Yeah. Okay.
Well,
It's so diverse.
Mhm.
So I see all sorts of combinations, but the majority of what I would consider like attractive white men out here in the city, when I see them with black women, they're usually dark skinned black women or they're usually black women with natural.
That wasn't the question. Once again, they can't help but to push their agenda, and their agenda is to say, "Hey, this group of men think that dark-skinned women are the shit." That's her agenda. That wasn't the question at all. She's saying that, do the men get higher quality women? She's answering the question, are attractive white men attracted to dark-skinned women? They're slow like that, or she's slow like that. But
right.
maybe it's just all the people in her region.
In her regent.
Hair. So
Mhm.
if these are the women who have been single and overlooked, and they just so happen to be the attractive women with these features, I don't know. I haven't seen.
Yeah, so she has the colorist agenda. She has the whole, oh, white men want us, so you better hurry up. Stop overlooking us because the white man wants us, the attractive white man wants us, so you better hurry up before we swirl. That's the whole agenda that she has.
Seen any unattractive interracial couples that are, a black woman and a white man, but I personally am not like looking for them.
Mhm.
Unlike certain men that we know, I'm not checking and a white man, but I personally am not like looking for them.
Mhm.
Unlike couples and overlooked, and they just so happen to be the attractive women with these features. I don't know. I haven't seen any unattractive interracial couples that are, a black woman and a white man, but I
Naughty
personally am not
love.
looking for
Naughty
them.
love.
Unlike
Hmm.
certain men that we know, I'm not checking other people's
She's
relationships and
lying.
looking at what black women are doing like that. But I mean, I went to the Renaissance Fair and I just know
Okay. She just says she's not checking for the black women and what they're doing, but she noticed the attractive white guys with the dark skinned black women. So, I mean, it's amazing how transparent people become when they're stupid, you know? Yeah.
Excuse me, 1 second. Guys, when you see those weird people in my chat, please block them. Like Noreen, whatever her name is, get her out of here. Okay, go ahead, DC. Sorry.
notice a ton of very cute, dark skinned black women with white dudes.
Mhm.
So I mean, maybe they're getting the beautiful women that are just being overlooked,
Mhm.
and there's a lot of
Dang, her agenda is transparent. She's not, but her agenda is.
them. So you're just noticing it, and you don't want to admit that they're attractive until you see that she's not interested in you. I think that's so funny too.
Percy, you wouldn't like me when I'm angry, sent $5 and he said, "Hey Chris Logic, hey Percy, thank you so much for the $5 super chat." Um, I want to figure out how to get multiple super chats on the screen at once, but excuse me, guys. I guess I'm not that advanced yet. And then we also had another super chat. Oh, I hope it didn't disappear, but it was from someone basically telling me that I need to get mods to make it a more friendly space. And yes, I do agree. I keep saying that I'm going to get mods and I haven't done it yet. But yes, I'm definitely going to be getting mods soon and I'm going to be adding people. But I do want there to be trusted mods because I don't want people censoring my comments too much. I want this to be like a space for dialogue where everyone could have their opinion so long as they're respectful. I don't want you guys delete.
Let me read the super chat real quick, GC.
Mhm.
Prime VA757, thanks again for the super chat. He says, why do they talk about being taken care of when they get with non-black men and they still split bills with and have to work?
Once again, it's because they're trying to sell this notion to black men. They're trying to manipulate black men's behavior, and they're using swirling as a tool to do that. Okay, so she's trying to say that, oh, yes, white men get with dark skinned black women that black men overlook, and then black men realize that they're beautiful. Like, yeah, no, that's not happening. You're not going to trick a black man into wanting something because the white man wants it. And in this case, what they're trying to do is they're trying to get black men to pay 100% of the tab for regular average women or women who are less attractive or less pretty than he is handsome. They're trying to get him to pay the whole bill. And they're saying that white guys do it, even though she's paying the whole bill or 50-50. It's a lie. We gotta understand primetime VA that most of what they're saying is a lie. It's perception. Perception is reality for these chicks.
That other comment, okay, that was by Holly James. Yeah, and she said, I hope you'll consider getting mods soon to make this a friendly space for your target audience. There's a real life psycho in the chat. Who? Holly James. Type in the chat who's being a psycho.
Yeah,
And
there's definitely a lot of dust in the chat and not dialogue, just straight random, weird, rude dust sometimes.
okay, yeah. So when I'm on here, I don't really focus on the chat too much because I try to focus on my callers and I try to focus on what you guys are saying. So I'm not all up in the chat, but if somebody's saying something inappropriate, just let me know what they're saying and I'll get rid of them. And then Percy, you wouldn't like me when I'm angry, sent another $2. He said, I love black women, just need them to love us back. Okay, thank you, Percy. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry for the $2 super chat. We appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, so in my opinion, I'm gonna let up another caller right after I say this, but I'm of two schools of thoughts. I do believe that typically when non-black women non-black women when black women interracially date and they get with non-black men, it's a difference in their behavior, not necessarily, and there is a difference in their looks too, but like I said, it boils down to them being well taken care of by the man that they're with, not that they're necessarily just more attractive.
Okay, so the difference in looks comes from being well taken. I gotta go after this. I gave it extra 30 minutes than I planned to, but I gotta go after this. So once again, they're selling an agenda. They look better because they're being taken care of by the men. That's bullshit. You saying that he got with an ugly ass bitch and then he gave her all kind of surgeries and shit, or he got with a fat chick and she's like, oh, now that I'm being taken care of, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to hit the treadmill, or he bought me a treadmill. Is get out of here. He didn't get with a fat ass bitch to begin with. You're saying that these well-to-do white guys are getting with these fat ass bitches and giving them treadmills so they lose weight? No. Lonnie Love can afford a treadmill and her ass is still fat. These are the lies that they're trying to push. I don't even like mess with swirlers like that because they're trying to, just push these propaganda and lies.
Yeah, nothing she said was true. Nothing at all.
Yeah.
But thanks for coming, GC. I appreciate you covering this with me.
Yeah,
I knew
thanks
this
for
was,
having me.
as soon as I saw this topic, I knew this was something that you would be good at covering because we hate these type of people. Or I'm not going to use the word hate. We dislike these type of people. So thank you for coming.
Well, just to be clear, I don't really think about swirlers too much. I know I give Crystalline Carroll's in the work, but that's because she promotes like later in life dating, to black women, and that's it's not really the swirling that bothers me. It's that. But as far as swirlers go, I don't really pay them much mind because they are willing to sacrifice themselves for the sake of other sisters, so they can get a better deal out of black men, and they just make a fool of themselves. So, yeah.
Exactly.
All right.
Well, I'm going to shut it down. Thanks for coming. And everybody check out movie night this Thursday. We do it every Thursday, but come through this Thursday. I think it's 6:30 Eastern time, right?
Yeah, 6:30 Eastern time, but I'm thinking about moving it to 7:30 Eastern time.
Okay, well, 7:30 Eastern time. I'm going to get off. I'm going to have me a tea and some soup. And hopefully by Thursday, I'll be feeling a little better. But peace. Thanks for
Peace.
coming. Peace.